Today, we're going to be turning this cabbage into sauerkraut juice. If you're interested, stay tuned. Welcome back to the Fermented Homestead. Today I'm going to bring you along while I make sauerkraut juice. I am planning to do the GAPS protocol starting in about a month or so I'm just doing all the preparations, getting things ready, and so it can be just an easy, smooth transition. So I know this isn't a super normal thing that is out there, so I thought I'd bring you along and show you how I'm doing it. I've never done this before, but can't be too much more difficult than making sauerkraut, so let's get started. Cut off the bottom here. Ooh, take off the bottom. When you're making the sauerkraut juice, all I'm going on is the research I've done. Like I said, I've never made this before, but you want the pieces to be as small as possible so that all the parts of it can be reached and all the nutrients can come out of it and you can just get the most benefit possible. So we're going to chop these up and then throw them in the food processor. And once they're in the food processor, we're going to blend them up really tiny. The smaller the better. All right, so I got these going. And plug your ears. Oops, that doesn't hold down. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? All right. I think I overloaded it. All right, that looks teeny. And we'll just repeat that until we're done. What do you know? Look. So now all we have is just a big bowl of some minced up cabbage. The next step is going to be to add salt to it. I've seen a few different numbers, but I've decided to go with 6 tablespoons for a head of cabbage because we're going to spread this out over so many jars and add a bunch of water to it. I think that it's just needed to make sure that no funky stuff grows. So here we go. And plus I really like the taste of salt. Well, real salt, I mean. Okay, so now we're just gonna mix it up. Probably should have gone with my big metal bowl, huh? Some of it's escaping, but most of it's staying in there. I'm kind of mashing it a little bit while I'm mixing it up, but not much. The salt is just going to do its thing, draw out a bunch of the water, so we don't have to. There we go. Fluff it up a little bit. I don't know why. So now we're just going to let this set on the counter. I'm going to cover it up with a tea towel and leave it be for about a half an hour, maybe to an hour. And then at that time, a bunch of the juices will be out of the cabbage and we'll be ready to throw it in jars. So I'll bring you back then. We've let this set for a little while, and now it's kind of just turned into this cabbage paste, kind of. And the next step is going to be to load them into the jars. So we're just going to take these and we want to fill them up. From what I've read, you want to fill them up to about a third with the cabbage. We're just going to eyeball it today. That's about a third. Okay, so now that the jars are filled about 1/3 with the cabbage, next we're going to take clean water and top them off. It's helpful to do both canning and fermenting because you got all the tools for it. So I'm just going to stir it up, make sure that the water got all the way into the cabbage. So next, we're just going to kind of loosely put these lids and rings on. Pretty loosely, because it's going to, too tight. It's going to expand and it's going to want to push the water out. So I'm going to put these handy nearby, since I'm not weighting them down because you kind of can't. You can see, there we go. So I'm not going to be weighing these down because I can't, so I need to make sure that I shake them up every day. Some people have said up to 2 times a day. So we're going to put this in a closet away from any other different types of ferments. You don't want to put it with any kind of kombucha or kefir or anything like that. So you want to keep them separate, but handy, because we're not going to weigh these down, so you want to make sure that you can shake them up frequently just to make sure no mold is going to form on the top. So at least once a day, if not twice a day, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to give them a bit of a shake. And then anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks, you could even go longer if you'd like to, which I probably will. Just keep them going, and then by the end you can strain them out. You can also, I'm sure you could eat the cabbage. It would probably just taste like minced up sauerkraut. And so I will bring you guys back when this is all finished so that I can give you guys a taste test. I've never done this before, so I have no idea how it's going to take, or pardon me, how it's going to taste. So we are back with our fermented sauerkraut juice. It's been probably about 3 weeks or so. I think I left them out for about 2.5 weeks, and then right before I was going to start gaps, I went ahead and threw them in the fridge. Let me see. It's got a pretty good amount of pressure here, so let's see if you can hear anything. Yep, there's definitely a nice little pop and some sizzling and all kinds of stuff going on. So, here we go. This is pretty much all I did with it. I just ran it through here. I didn't bother to get it all out because I am trying an experiment to see if I can maybe get a double ferment out of it. I don't actually know, but that's what I have going on right here. So far so good. We'll see. It's been probably, I think, about 5 days, maybe 6 days. And I'm just putting it back in here, adding in a couple of tablespoons of the leftover, the fermented stuff from here into here, adding another tablespoon of salt, and just letting it go. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll let you know in a different video. Let's see if we can get this over here without making a mess. There we go. And so it's just smells and tastes like sauerkraut. I mean, really, just sauerkraut. So cheers. It's good. It's probiotic. Whew, got a bit of a zing to it. And so if you're thinking about starting gaps, or you just want to have a nice, fermented beverage that you can have, I mean, you could drink way more than that if you wanted to, but it does have a lot. So if you're not used to fermented foods, you probably want to start a little bit slower. It can help with your digestion. It helps, populate your guts with all kinds of good bacteria. It can help fight bad bacteria, and it's just, if you like pickles, or if you like sauerkraut or anything like that, this is a great thing to make. And especially if you're thinking about starting gaps, definitely do this a couple weeks ahead of time. It takes probably at least 2 weeks. If I weren't starting gaps, I probably would have let it go longer. And I have a second batch that's fermenting over there, and that one I'm just going to leave out until I run out of this stuff. So it's probably going to be out for about 3 or 4 weeks. The longer you leave it, the more it's pre-digested, and the more probiotics there are. And I'm sure it comes to a point where it can start to diminish. In fact, I know that there is, but I've yet to meet that time. And I like to leave it out. I like things to be nice and sour. And obviously I don't have a good digestive system, which is why I'm doing gaps. So the more it can be pre-digested, the better in my book. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.